Who do we have in the house? We have two people. Who are those two people? And I am horizontal today, hopefully. Am I horizontal for everybody? Can't see on my laptop yet. Let's see. Yeah, I'm horizontal. Everyone's a winner. So who is in the house? I've got my little dog with me. We're on the couch. Say hello, Case. Hello, who's there? Hello, mates. Simon Kendall is in the house. How are you, Simon? I'm amazed you were bothered by smoke when you came to Sideways, mate, because it's open space, isn't it? I suppose you were on the table closest to the smokers. How are things with you? I'm being lit to death by my little dog down here. It's anyway. I think you can see that. Right. Good boy. Who else is there? Come on, talk to me, people. I got a like. I do like to have a like. Thank you for the like, whoever that was. I can't sit here and talk to myself. 5 people in the house. Oh, Jimmy's not joining us tonight. The socialite that he is, he has. He's got guests again. So James has sent his apologies. Mike Thompson, how's it going tonight, bud? All is going well, Mike. All the better now you're in the house. How are you, mate? Simon in Block Capitals, Simon Kendall. We are all good. Heading to Broccolod tomorrow for a couple of days. Yep, the smoke was a bit heavy for Mel. I don't really mind it too much. Yeah, I'm surprised by that. I've never heard that before in Sideways because it's a non-smoking bar, but obviously they do smoke on the peripheral bit outside. I'm amazed that blew in because it's an open bar, isn't it? But there you go. What the devil are you going to Broccolod for? Family there or just an excursion? Are you going on the bus? Scott Geen, hi, I'm Simon. Go New South Wales. Go Blues Rugby League's rules. Okay, I agree. I'm going to change my glasses now. I'm struggling to read the screen with those ones. That's a lot better. Dengo Philippines, hi, been 33 degrees in Cardiff. There you go. That doesn't happen very often, does it? I have noticed watching a few things like, vlogs from the UK that you're in a heat wave at the moment. Mind you, we're in May, aren't we? It's not that surprising. My God, things have crept up with me. I was thinking it was still winter in the UK, but no, we're just at the end of spring, aren't we? Passport 9461. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great morning, day, evening. Well, I'm having a great evening. What is it where you are? Morning, day, evening? Then go Phillips. What about West Ham? I am from Essex. The only way is Essex, mate. Yeah, it's very disappointing. I'm surprised how well I've taken it, to be honest with you. It hasn't bothered me as much as it would done many, many years ago. But it's been a while since I've been to the games. And people who watch the channel will know I said we were going to get relegated the very first game of the season. I knew we were going to go down this season. There were a couple of times when I got a bit of false hope a few weeks ago when we had a revival and Spurs slipped in. But because I was expecting it for so long, it hasn't really hit me as hard as I thought, as previous relegations have. Mind you, it's a long time since we were relegated. Whereabouts in Essex are you from, mate? It's 2 p.m. afternoon here in Romania. Really? Are you Romanian? Been to Romania a few times. Been there snowboarding. Haven't been anywhere other than the mountains, but I have been to Romania a couple of times. I'm drinking in a chipped cup. The puppy not get over earlier. He stop eating things. What is he eating now? Passport 39461. No, I'm an American. What in the wide world of sport are you doing in Romania then? Dengon, Philippines. Romford in Essex. I know Romford very well. It's end of time. How's life, Simon? Life is good, mate. Life is okay. Life is okay. Actually, life is a lot better. I've had a good week in many respects. Didn't have a great night last night. Didn't win the music quiz, which is unusual. We usually win that, but I won't go into that. But I have thought for a while that my quiz days were coming to an end because there was a new guy who was buying sideways. I didn't talk about it before because, yeah, so that has been a concern, but the sale has fallen through. So nothing has changed. Life has gone on regardless, and I'm quite happy about that. Simon Kendall, 4824. Heading on the bus. It's beautiful scenery along the way there, and it's just a bit of fun. Mel's family is local here. Really? The bus to Bocalod is fun? Good Lord, mate. You're made of strong stuff, Simon. I couldn't. I mean, I could do it if I had to, but I wouldn't. I don't think I'd think it was fun. I think I'd find it was slow, monotonous, and uncomfortable. Never liked coach or bus travel, but I have done it in the past, quite long journeys, but not anymore, not anymore. Glass and Finger, hello Billy, evening all, loved the walk and talk. Did you? Yeah, I like the way you say that, you love the walk and talk. You cover every base there, Billy, it could be any of them. I'm assuming you mean the most recent. Hey, Adam Fenze. Hi, guys. Good to catch the live, Simon. Good to catch. Adam, where have you been? We've been worried about you. We thought you had forsaken us. What's the word on the street in Da Nang, mate? Are you still in Da Nang? Mike Thompson. All get it out of the way early. Aircon, military ID. None of the above, mate. None of the above. None of the above. Scott Geen. Simon, where your wife? I think you're referring to Ellen. She is. I don't know where she was. She was here a minute ago. I think she is hiding in the bedroom. Passport TV 9461. I think I'm just going to call you Passport going forward, mate. I bought some land in 2000 and spent about 4 to 6 months a year here. Really? That's quite unusual, isn't it? I wouldn't have thought there's that many Americans that choose to buy land and summer. I assume you're summering there in Romania. Interesting. Whereabouts are you? I mean, I don't know Romania very well, but are you up in the mountains in the scenic parts, or are you close to a city? Where are you? Simon Kendall, try riding on the back of a multi-cab through the mountains of Cebu. That was different. I bet it was. Scott Geen, what's chocolate bar like Love Caramello? What's chocolate bar like Love Caramello? You've lost me completely. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I'm guessing you love Caramello, but I don't know what's the chocolate bar. Adam Fente, haha, still in Da Nang, enjoying too many beach evenings. The vibe in this city is so chill and it's very comfortable. Yeah, we've got to try it, mate. You know, much as we love the dog and the cat, they are infringing greatly on our holiday making. I think the way forward is going to be we're going to have to get a living maid or someone to look after them so we can go away. But this place is a bit too small for that. But I think that's going to be in the end. I think that's going to be the way we proceed. Adam Fente, I know. Passport 94. Will you leave the cat alone? Case, no. Hold 1 second. Leave her alone. Gosh, he doesn't stop that dog. Passport. I'm in Cluj-Napoca, a city in Transylvania. I have been to Transylvania. I have been to Bran Castle. When I was a kid on a day trip, I remember being quite disappointed. Apart from our coach guide putting a Dracula mask on at the end, trying to make us jump to get on the bus, it wasn't very vampire-y. I remember him saying that they don't like to push that part of it. They like to certainly was frowned on in those days. But we're going back a long, long time. I mean, I would have been 8 or 9, 10 maybe. So we're going back about 45 years. So a long time ago. Back in the communist days. Colin Farrell, peace, brother. Colin is in the house. You have to be careful with a maid. Make sure they've got references. Yeah, of course. I've heard a lot of bad stories about that kind of thing, but quite a few of the guys I know have got them. We might not. We might get a house sit. I don't know what we'll do, but I'm not too bothered for the immediate future while they're younger. But we can't like say we're not going to go on holiday ever again. So at some stage we will have to do that. Have you had bad experiences, or have you heard of bad experiences when you say you need references? It's at the time, or try at the back of anchors through Manila heat and exhaust. It's been so hot here, and if you end up behind a belchy jeepney, well, good luck. Yeah. I can't believe I was in Cambodia just in November. Can't believe May is almost over. Time is flying by. Feels like it was just yesterday we had an egg coffee in Saigon. Yeah, it's amazing how time flies, isn't it, mate? It really is. And the older you get, time does actually go quicker, or your perspective of time goes quicker. But yeah, it's flying by, flying by. Yeah, it is. It's nearly 6 months ago, isn't it? Because we went for Christmas. Wow. Can't fail. My friend runs a hostel business. One of the maids started lifting small things. Yeah, I know a lot of that can happen. Trouble is that can happen even if you've got references. I mean, that is the reality of things. But we're not going to do it for the. I mean, wouldn't want to do it here. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it doesn't have to be a living, does it? I mean, it just gives you more flexibility. And I don't know how Ellen will get on with a living. I've heard lots of stories of like, you get a living and they fall out with the lady of the house, and there's friction and things. So I mean, maybe just someone who comes in a couple of hours a day and does a bit of cleaning and could feed the dogs and let them out or take them for a walk. Who knows? The dogs. We've only got one dog. Well, no, we've got 2 dogs, but surprised how well this little one is getting on with Perry outside. I didn't think Perry would be very tolerant of him because he's a grumpy old dog, Perry. Lovely, but grumpy. But he is making exceptions for Case, which is nice. Passport. The lady of the house may get jealous. Yes, there is that distinct possibility. She claims not to be a jealous lady, but she is jealous. Simon Kendall, could you do it where you pay them for living, but the pets live with them? I wouldn't want to do that, mate. What would be the point of that? I would never see the pets. And for your holidays, I don't know. We'd have to look into it. I mean, we could probably pay someone to. I mean, house it, friends of a friend, or something like that. Before we went away last time, I had someone who was going to house sit, and then one of Ellen's friends was. The trouble was, I think a normal time of year would have been okay because it was Christmas. The friend that wanted to house sit, or one of her friends, was willing to go, needed to go away for 2 days for Christmas to go and see her family. And he thought, well, that's the point. I mean, the whole point is having someone stay, look after the dogs. They're not going to be here for a couple of days. But in the end, our neighbour did it. So there's always, when there's a will, there's a way. But that was just Fred and Perry outside. So they didn't need a lot of maintenance. They just needed feeding. But this little fella and the kitten, they'll need more intensive looking after. Colin Farrell, problem is the pets get used to their surroundings. They do indeed. Mike Thompson, is the Philippines your favourite country that you have visited? Myself was Indonesia. The people, the food, the beaches, and the work at the time. No. I mean, I like my life here. I've said many times before. I love my life here. I don't necessarily love the Philippines as much as I do in some other places. For example, I probably had to pick between the two. Thailand, I think I prefer Thailand to the Philippines. But I enjoy my life here in terms of the social circles I've got and the freedom and the feelings. But no, my favourite city is still Paris. You know, I love France. Used to spend a lot of time there. Uh, as I say, I love my life here. I couldn't say I actually like the Philippines more than I say do Thailand or more than I do Cambodia. I mean, I loved my life when I was in Thailand, but that life has gone now. That chapter has passed. I mean, this chapter now. But yeah, it's a strange thing about. I hope that makes sense. Um, how Adam Fenton, how's life in Dooma these days? Busy with dogs nowadays? Yes, we are busy with the dog these days, which is a good thing. It's a pain in the arse, to be honest with you, but it's doing me good. 'Cause I take him out for walks a few times a day, and that's getting me a bit of exercise and a bit of the old sun and a bit of the vitamin D and things. So much as it's a drag to have to do it, it is keeping me active and more productive during the days now because I can't lie in because I've got to wake up and take the dog for a walk and things. Plastered finger. A mate of mine has a woman who comes around and cleans and looks after the animals, cats and dogs. I think she's paid 6K a month, but lives out round the corner from her own house. Um, yeah, I think that would probably be more likely to do something like that. The trouble is, at the moment, Ellen is not keen. When I've talked about getting a cleaner before, she doesn't really want to, which is fair enough. I respect that. I don't particularly want to, but I've offered to because she's obviously got cleaning duties, as do I. We're a very modern couple. We both do take shares in the cooking and the cleaning and that. Although she probably does do more than me. Well, she does do a bit more than me, but she's not been keen, and I've not pushed it. But I think as time goes on, and she comes to the realization it's the only way we'll be able to take holidays, then maybe she will. And at the moment, we don't have a situation like the cat doesn't go out. The cat is a house cat. So that changes. And he, you know, I let him go in and out now, but he doesn't wander very far. He's still spending most of the time in his thing. If it comes to the stage that she wants to start going out and she is wandering around and we had a cat flap or something like that, then that would change the ball game altogether. Same with him, you know what I mean? So at this moment in time, even if someone was living in or whatever, I wouldn't be comfortable. What have you just got? This dog is a thief. He takes things out of my pockets. I don't know why, he just likes chewing things. I thought he'd taken my snooze out of my pocket just then. Got my wallet the other day. I woke up, lots of torn up notes all around the floor. That made me very happy. Fortunately, he had concentrated on the hundreds as opposed to the thousands for some reason, which was a blessing, I guess. It's end of time. Rainy season starting this weekend. Yeah, rainy season has started here already, and it's been quite pleasant. Lot cooler now, a lot cooler. Very pleasant, in fact. I mean, not really had a lot of rain. I mean, it did rain for a little bit, but the temperature has dropped. I'm hoping it's here to stay, and it's not affected us in any way. I mean, the little bits of rain that we have had have been like in the middle of the night. It's not affected like going out or stopped us doing anything yet. So yeah, it's very, very welcome. I believe June is when it's supposed to start here, so it's a little bit early. We've had a very hot summer, hotter than I've known. But I've only been here 3 years. Ellen says it was a very hot for her. You know, it's hot. I mean, she's lived her whole life, so it was an unusually hot one. Does that mean this rainy season is going to be unusually wet? Only time will tell. Dango Philippines coming out in January, 3 weeks. Is there anything I can bring you? Are you coming to see us? Good Lord. I was going to say no, because I can never think of anything. But Greg, our neighbour, was asking me before he came out, "Is there anything you want? Is there anything you want?" I couldn't think of anything. And in the day he caught his flight, I suddenly realised we can't get cooking cheese sauce. So yes, if you are coming, obviously I will reimburse you financially. But yeah, some cheese sauce, powdered cheese sauces would be very nice. You're coming in January, are you? Great. 3 weeks in Dumaguete or 3 weeks around the Philippines? Passport. I could choose. I couldn't choose one country over another. They're all different experiences. Yes, they are different experiences. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, I really like my life here. There are lots of things I do like about the Philippines, but you know, I like living here. but to say it's your favourite country, you know what I mean? It's like, I think you get what I'm saying. You know, I've been to some other countries which are far more mind blowing in terms of the architecture and the culture and the museums and the things you can do there and the food and all the rest of it. So, you know, but I mean, London's an amazing city. I wouldn't want to live there anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it would be different. I mean, I had aspirations of living in Paris. But if I lived in Paris, I'd have to start working and I'd have to get an online business. I mean, I couldn't, you know, so I like not working. I like being lazy. You know what I mean? So it's all a trade off. Plaster finger. You can get a collar operated cat flap to stop strangers getting in. Yeah, you can. I'm aware of that. But that's not the problem. The problem is we live in a glass house. It is called the glass house. It is double glazed all the way round. There is not actually any part of it you could put a cat flap in without taking one of the panels out, I suppose. But then it would be a big job, and I doubt our landlord would be keen on doing that. He might be if I said I paid for it, but yeah. But at the moment in time, we don't want the cat to go out. I mean, that's the thing. We've got a big enough flat, the dog could go in and out. I don't mind him going out because I walked him for a few weeks first to get used to things. But now, if he wants to go out, just let him and he plays with some of the other dogs. There's a dog with some puppies down there and he goes out for like half an hour, but then he wants to come back in again. But I'm confident now. I mean, the first few times I let him go out, I was out to have a cup of coffee as well. He doesn't go that far. So I don't think he'd run off. But I mean, he might run off in a few months' time if we don't get him neutered, because he might, you know, get a bit randy and smell a female in scent and go off looking for a mate. But if we get his knackers cut off, I don't think that's going to happen. But her, she's such a small, cute little cat. I'm just worried she's going to get beaten up by other cats. There's so many cats along here, and yeah, I don't really want her to go out. But equally, I don't want her to feel trapped in the house. I've always thought it's cruel people that keep cats in a house. So we're kind of leaving it her decision. You know, I've left the door open a couple of times, you know, while he's been out and I've been there and the cat's been there and I've been watching her and thinking, right, if she goes out there, then I'm going to have to start thinking about whether we let her out and thinking about a cat flap and all the rest of it. But she doesn't go out. She like has a sniff and has a look and then just comes back here. So she doesn't want to go out. So we'll cross that. But hopefully she will never want to. It's a bit of a pain having the cat litter, but we can live with that. Um, Mike Thompson, my time in Thailand was great. I took 5 years off and travelled, but got burned twice. Um, I'm guessing you don't mean sunburn. Burned by whom? How? Pray tell. Sounds interesting. What happened to you? I'm guessing you mean scammed. Okay, Billy, what do you think of exploring Nigeria or Kenya? Um, Not for me personally. I know someone who lives in Kenya. They love it. I had some quite unpleasant experiences in Kenya when I was in the Air Force. Um, I mean, when I say there weren't unpleasant experiences, it was just incredibly rough. And it's like to leave the hotel to go to like a Hard Rock Cafe and that, you had to have security escort you because people were pulling at you and had these sticks and they were banging people and they were beggars and you were warned about AIDS. And, you know, Nairobi was rough then. I don't know if it still is now. I've not been to Nigeria, but no, I did a while ago think about going to, where was it? A friend of mine was going, where was it? Were they going? Wasn't Ghana. It was. He started going there. I knew him from Thailand. I can't remember where it was, but he reckoned it was really good. But not for me. Are you thinking of going there? Dangun, Philippines. Yes, yes. He says yes. What was my question? I was about to describe my question. My question was: are you coming over to the Philippines, or are you travelling around to do Mageti, or are you travelling around? Yes, could answer both of those questions. So I'm still a bit none the wiser, mate. Um, Passport, your dog is trying to make an appearance. Yes, he is. He's yeah, he's not camera shy. Passport, I'm heading out. Take care, everyone. Yeah, nice to meet you, Passport. Thanks for joining. I hope you're heading somewhere nice. An afternoon stroll, perhaps. Well, Billy is here. It's end of time is here. Martin's here. Simon. Simon tends to come and what's the matter, doggy? Tends to come and see people go. They don't say goodbye. It's nice that Passport said he was hanging out because I don't know if people are still in the chats or not. Adam Fenay probably thinking I will stay here in Da Nang the remainder of the year. It's just too convenient for me to work. Plenty of coffee shops with Wi-Fi. More than Siem Reap for sure. Well, sounds good to me, mate. That works for you. If you're enjoying it there and if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, if you can work and get your stuff done, that's brilliant, mate. Okay, Billy, I'm thinking of going Africa. Ladies speak English. They appear to be more interested in Farangs. Maybe we are in more demand. Pass. I don't know, are they? Presumably they don't call us Farangs over there. Well, there you go. Ladies are quite interested in most Asian countries still, I think, mate. But yeah, why not? Sounds exciting. You'll have to start vlogging. Where was it that Andy was going in Africa? Was it Ghana? What's the capital of Ghana? It begins with K. I'm trying to think what the city you used to go to was. Mike Thompson. The first time was a woman. When I say 101, mean an 11. The second time was a business deal that went south. Oh no. The first time when I say a 10, I mean an 11. Okay, got you. I think you said 101 there. My eyesight's not the best. The second time was a business deal that went south. Well, we learned from our experiences. Hopefully, you didn't get burnt too badly. What was the business? Don't tell me it was gold or precious metals because I might know the guy that scammed you. Kampala. Yes, that's it. It was Ghana. It was Ghana and Kampala. That's it. That's the place. Yeah, he reckoned it was really good there. But he was going for the ladies because, as he said, the same thing as you. They were really interested in him. I'm not really not necessarily that into African women. It wouldn't have been the driving force for me. It would have been the idea of trying somewhere new. But I looked at a few vlogs and I never went. So I was a bit scarred by my time in Nigeria. Not in Nigeria, Kenya. I mean, I like Northern Africa. Love Egypt. Adam Fenton, Jack Star still around or not so much? Yeah, he was here last week. He comes on most. He misses the odd one or two. He hasn't appeared tonight, so I'm guessing he's busy building his empire or he's entertaining his new lady. But yeah, no, he was here last week, mate. Simon Kendall, you are still here, Simon. I sometimes think of getting one of those abandoned houses in Japan for a holiday place. Japan is an interesting place, not as expensive as I thought it would be. Yeah, Trevor Harvey tells me he's often in the chats. He lives in Japan. There was a time when that was the place on my list. I really wanted to go there. I was heavily into martial arts. I wanted to go there and train and do all the rest of that good stuff in my younger days, but now holds no appeal whatsoever. I don't approve of the whaling and the dolphins and things like all that kind of stuff that they do. But there you go. But yeah, apparently some parts are incredibly expensive, but a lot of parts are surprisingly cheap. I watched a Bald and Bankrupt video the other night. He was in Osaka, and yeah, strange place. The nightlife was very strange there. You can get some quite cheap property over there, can't you? I watched a few vlogs recently. You get really cheap property in Italy. Like these little townhouses for like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,000 euros in Sicily and things like that. It's end of time. Japan is a very cold place in my experience, and I don't mean the weather. Really? See, that's interesting because my ex-wife, she went there for business a few times, and she said they were incredibly friendly, incredibly polite, incredibly helpful, but none of them could speak a word of English, so it was difficult, and the signs weren't in English and things. Um, Last night, or the night before, watching that Bald and Bankrupt, these they were incredibly friendly people, and the people who were in front of the camera, they seemed very friendly, didn't seem cold at all. But then I had a couple of good friends who went over there for the World Cup, and they said the same as you. It was like, people were really cold. So who knows? I suppose it depends where you go. Like certain cities in England are a lot friendlier than others. Adam Fente, Japan seems to really want foreigners to learn the language that stay there. I understand the desire, but I don't have it in me to learn Japanese. LOL. Don't put yourself down, mate. I'm sure you do. Where there is a will, there's a way. I watched a couple of documentaries recently on the prisons over there as well. They're very strange prison system there. I reckon it's one of the toughest prison systems in the world. I suppose it depends your definition of tough, because you can't speak and you've got to do things in a certain time. And there's an order and a routine and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, in that sense, it was harsh. It was very quiet. You can't make a noise and all that kind of thing. But it did look quite clean and hygienic. I think I would rather have that than 40 to a cell in some Philippine prison, all crowded around a fan infested with cockroaches and things. But who knows? Hopefully, I won't have to try it either. Simon Kendall, the nightlife is very interesting in Japan. Indeed, it is. Hentai, yeah, that's what he was saying. Yeah, always very strange culture like that. I'm fascinated by Bushido, and it's amazing how they intertwine the samurai and the geishas, and it's a fascinating culture. It really is. But when the UFC came along, my faith in Japanese jiu-jitsu and karate kind of waned, and then I lost interest in Bushido. Yeah, that's what kind of killed it for me. Adam Fente, there's no culture like the Japanese. LOL. No, I don't think there is, mate. I think you're right. A lot to be admired by it. A lot to be admired by it. Peter Stalapaduku, living in Japan, best docu ever, YouTube. I will have to check that out. Never heard of the fella. I will have to check that out. I don't know what I'd do in Japan. What would I do with my time there? Certain places. I mean, what do you do with your time here? You have like a certain thing. I would do this. I would do that. I had certain ideas what I would do if I went to Cambodia. Not sorry, Cambodia, to Colombia. I've more or less done what I thought I would do doing here. I'm not quite sure what I would do in Japan. Can't really see myself in a bar with lots of Japanese guys drinking sake and eating noodles. I mean, it might be fun. I mean, I might take it like a fish to water. I mean, it's not going to happen now. But and what I like about Dumaguete is I don't really want to live in another city. I've lived in a lot of big cities in my life, and I don't want to. And I think the trouble is with a lot of places, that's kind of put me off Vietnam, or made me think Da Nang would be the place. I think you need to have somewhere. I like to mix with expats. When I want to, I like to have the opportunity to do that. I think Japan could potentially be a very lonely place unless you were with a Japanese lady. Completely lost my train of thought. I'm having a senior moment. I don't know what I was talking about then. I get sidetracked when I'm trying to keep up with the chats. But yeah, it might come back to me. Adam Fente, if I go to Japan, I just eat, drink, and maybe reluctantly go to a temple. Yeah, and I'm not that enamored with Japanese food. You're saying there's no cultures. I'm going to say something now as well. It's got nothing to do with saying, but I might do a video on this in the not too distant future. It doesn't make me laugh, these people who keep saying, and I'm not knocking people, but a lot of people say they don't want to come to Dumaguete because of the expats. They want to avoid expats and they'll say they live in a village and there's no other expats there, and they just got Filipino friends and all this, as if it's like that's an amazing achievement. Um, as I've said in previous videos, I know a lot of people who did that in the early days. I found out in Thailand, some of the people I knew there, because I was like that when I first moved there. I was like that the majority of the time there, but a lot of people do that. But then after like 10, 12, 13, 14 years, it gets too much for them, or they split up or whatever. But these people who are saying like, oh, I don't want that, I want to do this, I want to do that. So if that's what works for you, then fine, fair play to you. But don't be so sure that will work for you forever. Don't be so sure once the novelty wears off that you might miss an expat community. Because I change. I go through stages. So I was that person for like 8 years avoiding other expats. Now I've gone full circle. That was one thing I wanted to say. The other thing was, which I find fascinating about people who have a go at you saying, don't want to live in an expat community and that. They say, a few people have said I've said in the past, I'm not moaning, I just find it fascinating that they say these things, because you watch the first Mark Thornton video I did, I said the same thing. I said, I don't really want to mix with Westerners. I don't really want to do that. I like to, embrace the locals. And I did. I went to Siem Reap, and 98% of my friends were Filipinos, and I socialized exclusively with Filipinos. And look how that worked out. You know what I mean? Anyway, so the point I'm saying is, someone said in one of the videos recently, I don't understand the point of traveling halfway across the world and then spending your days with people you could spend your days with at home. And that was the bit that bugged me, because I was thinking, you're not. Because when I go out with my circle of friends, the people I mix with, the vast majority of them aren't British. I've got a lot of Scandinavian friends, I've got Canadian friends, I've got American friends, I've got Australian friends, Dutch friends, Italian friends, Spanish friends. So when you're out and about, you might be mixing with Westerners or whatever, but they're not the people you would meet, at home. I mean, yeah. Went out for dinner on Saturday with a Dutch guy and his girlfriend, and an American last night. It was a Dutch guy, a Spanish guy. It is. There's lots of nationalities here. I mean, you go to the quiz on Sideways on a Thursday. Yeah, they are what you would perceive expats, but they've all got their girlfriends or their wives there. I mean, at least 30% of the participants are Filipinos, and of the ones that are Westerners, got a hell of a mix. There's Germans, there's French, there's Canadians, there's Australians, there's Dutch. This idea that you're just socializing with people from your home country isn't right. Is not accurate. And the idea that because you mix in expat circles doesn't mean you don't have Filipino friends. No, I've got lots of friends who are Filipinos. I've got an English guy I know who I socialise with. He plays darts virtually every night. He goes around all the bars. He's playing with Filipinos. The Filipinos love their darts in Dumaguete. There's lots of dart nights which you can go and play in. It's like 80, 90% Filipinos. So this idea that, you can't, that if you're here, you're just mixing with people from your home country, and that's so boring, and why would you want to? I think it's nonsense for the reasons I've just said. Don't need to do a video on it now, do I? Yeah, anyway, there you go. And the other thing as well, I'm coming back to that now. I will get back with the chat. I was saying about it being cliquey, it's too cliquey, and expat circles are cliquey. I think it really depends where you are. I did find that when I was up in Phetchabun, but it was a very small circle. There were about, I don't know, on a good day, there might be 12 guys there. Most times 7 or 8, but they would meet at a swimming pool called Homelands every Sunday. And I went a couple of times, met them, and it was such a small group. They weren't really my kind of people. And I got friendly with a couple of them, but it was very cliquey. I get people not wanting to be involved in that, but Dumaguete is not like that. In the sense, yeah, I'm sure there are cliques, but there'll be like 100 cliques because there's so many. So I mean, it's this idea. I mean, and that's why I'm saying it, because when I was in Siquijor, I was like, oh, I don't want to get involved in cliques. I don't want to mix with expats or whatever. Sometimes your perception of what things are is not the reality. And certainly my perception of living in a area that has a relatively large expat community compared to the Philippines for the city is not how I perceived it would be. It's totally opposite. It's far more positive than I thought. And I do wonder how many of these people who've decided it's not for them have actually tried it. Because it might not be for them, but I'm not sure their perceptions are actually what the situation would be if they did try it. But there you go. I've gone on too long about that. I will get back to the talk, chat. Anders Starfelt, interviewing foreigners living in Japan. That will be interesting. Okay, Billy, if you were single looking to date, which cities would you consider? Where? What do you mean? What, in the Philippines or in the world? Honestly, Billy, I don't say this in a condescending way. I think you're I think you're overthinking this dating business. Um, in Thailand, you can meet a woman anywhere. You know, it's like, it's the same in the Philippines. I mean, there might be, if you went to Cebu, for example, Cebu City, there is a bigger population there. So there might be a couple of, I don't know what the population of Cebu is, but there might be a couple of million more women there. But you're not going to date 2 million, are you? I mean, the reality is if you came to Dumaguete and you had game and you were playing in terms of going out every night trying to meet women and you got on Tinder, I'm sure you could meet a woman every day. It's the Philippines for God's sake. It's like Thailand, when I was living there, if you went up to one of the smaller places, but I went to Lomsak a couple of times by myself, my God, the interest I got. If I went into the town, into Petchebroom City by myself, it's a different thing. I always spent a lot of time with my girlfriend, so she'd always come with me when shopping. That never got much interest. A couple of times when she was sick, I went by myself. My God, the interest you get from the staff and the tills and that was never batted an eyelid before. When you're by yourself, they're bang on. So, mate, honestly, anywhere, don't have to think, oh, this city's particularly good or whatever. Anywhere in the Philippines, you'll find. I mean, obviously, if you go to some small village, then it might be more difficult. But anywhere of a population of 100,000 plus, you'll be all right, mate. Difficult over in Siquijor. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that because in Siquijor you got a lot of, a lot of young. You're competing with a lot of young, handsome backpackers in their early 20s with their 6 foot, 6 packs and all that kind of shit. So if a girl wanted to be promiscuous, why would she choose looking one night stands? Why would you choose an older guy not as good a shape? But if they're looking for a relationship, a serious relationship, they're not going to be interested in the backpackers. But everyone knows everyone on the island, so you got if you sneezed in the rum bar, they'd say bless you in the JJ's bite. I think everyone knows everyone's business there. So you could go out for a drink with someone or take someone out on a date. A chaperone's going to turn up, and then the rest of the island's going to know. So yeah, it's difficult in a place like that for all those reasons. Adam Fente, Da Nang feels a bit crowded now. Might just be my perception during the busy season in this foreign neighbourhood. Getting Thai Farang refugees as of recent, according to some Da Nang vlogs I saw. LOL. Well, there you go. It's amazing how many people are going to Vietnam, given they still don't have a retirement visa, and still you've got to do the border runs and things. Be interesting if they did ever decide to bring a retirement visa in, just how many people went there. I reckon there would be a massive influx. Whether the Vietnamese want that or not, I do not know. But that really would hit, I think, the Philippines and Thailand quite hard because it's got a lot going for it, Vietnam. So the reason, this is why I started talking about the expo. The thing that put me off going there is I get the impression that one of the unusual things about the Philippines is lots of small cities have relatively big expat communities. Whereas in Thailand, if you're outside of Cebu or not, sorry, if you're outside Bangkok or Chiang Mai or Chiang Rai or Phuket or uh, Pattaya or anywhere like that. You know, there's places like Petsanulo, for example, doesn't really have much of an expat community. You know, the smaller towns, Tak, places like that, there aren't Petrobras, there aren't really any there. So you're kind of like, you've got to live the local life. And if you want to live, that's fine. But here, it's one of the few places I found in the world where you can live in a small provincial town and still have quite a healthy, thriving expat community. I get the impression it's not really like that in Vietnam. You know, the restaurants and that were great in Ho Chi Minh City. We loved it. I mean, to eat out and things, but you know, because it's such a big city, you're not going to have the same kind of feel and be able to develop the same circle of friends and that you've got in a place like Dumaguete. That's my way of looking at it. Anyway, that's why I started talking about the expat communities. Um, Simon Kendall, when I trained, it was before the UFC was a thing, but I had a few cross-style matches for fun. But my tournament, 70% loss from using illegal techniques got me banned. LOL. Illegal techniques. Good Lord, Simon. Well, is there such a thing as a illegal technique in true martial arts? I would argue not. But would true martial arts participate in a sport? I would argue not. But that is a different argument. What were you doing then? What were you cross training in? Mike Thompson, Petrobrim is where the 11 came from. Really? Whereabouts? Mike Thompson, Wichambury. There you go. You have interesting spellings, Mike. But there's no right or wrong, you know, because it's written in Thai. Okay, Billy, thanks, mate. I agree. Good Lord, it's not often anyone agrees with me, mate. It's end of time. Okay, Billy, try University City. You'll be like a magnet, mate. Yeah, I think so. I mean, Dumaguete is University City. If you go to some of the, like, you know, some of the Filipino places like the Hyde and Piggy Bar and that, you dress up smart, you go in that, they'll be they'll think you're great. You know, they'll love to mingle with you. Okay, Billy, I'm thinking Kenya in Africa and Davao, Cebu for dating. Well, there you go. There you go. You've got a lot of dating to do. Good luck to you. Okay, Billy, for me, I feel. Um, okay, Billy, for me, I feel invisible in the West. Hence, I want to go to a country where you are valued. Well, there you go. I'm sure you will be valued wherever you go. And rest assured, Billy, you are valued in the Speaking of Asia community. Mike Thompson, 1541. Sorry about the spelling errors. It was 20 years ago. No, don't worry about the spelling. Jackie, that. There is no right way to spell them. You know, Ellen, in the past, I've said things about Thailand and she starts talking about how do you spell it, or she can't find this. And I'm like, there aren't really any spellings. They're all attempts. I mean, it's not the Thai alphabet, but, you know, it's, you know, I mean, Petrobrim is usually PHECHN, but I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? I know where you mean. Where are we? Adam Fente. Though I wasn't as charmed by Thailand compared to my experience in Cambodia, I could still give Thailand another try in the future if I had a calling for it. I prefer the north of Thailand, mate. I do prefer the north. Um, I like Bangkok to visit, but if I ever moved back there, I definitely wouldn't be living in the south. Adam Fente. I might consider PH next year. We'll see how the world progresses in the next 6 months. Yes, indeed, we will, because it's going to hell in a handcart at the moment. Don't know what's going to happen here, you know, with the fuel and things. Are we going to run out? Is there going to be a mad rush? Are we going to start getting brownouts? I hope not. It's weird how the prices keep fluctuating. It goes up, then it drops, and it goes back up again. I'm talking about the fuel and things. At one point, they were saying not so long ago we were going to run out in a month, but that was over a month ago. So I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. It's amazing. You don't really give it much thought until you go past the garage and you'll suddenly see there's like about 50 people queuing. You think, God, is it running out? And then you'll see go to the next petrol station and there'll be no one there because they're like 3 or 4 pesos more. But the point is they've still got fuel. I mean, that's all that matters. It's end of time. You missed my message to Billy. I think he needs some encouragement. Did I? Where did I miss it? I didn't. I said, okay, Billy, try University City or be like a magnet, mate. I read that out. If that's what you're talking about. I read it out, Mike. Where have you been? Rewind. See it, come back and apologise. I said that. He would be like a magnet. Is that the one you're talking about? Or is it something else? Because if it's something else, it hasn't come up here. Sometimes I don't always get, or I don't seem to get, the chat that other people get. Jack has said a few times that I've missed his comments. And I scroll back up and I haven't missed them at all. I wonder where Jack is. We've got like, I know where Jim is because Jim said he was going out. We've got quite a full house. Is there anyone missing? We haven't got the art chairs, isn't here? Timmy Wimmy's not here, but he's not here so often. Sometimes he comes. And sometimes he doesn't. So Dango Philippines, off to work, catch up soon. Keep the walk and talks. Cheese sauce. Cheers, mate. Thanks for joining us. And again, thanks for the name suggestion. That is still in pole position. Yeah, don't work too hard. Mike Thompson, 1541. Brownouts. That reminds me of the Philippines so much. Yeah, it hasn't happened. The worry was they did a decree or whatever you want to call it a while back saying that the supermarkets, all the shopping malls had to like open an hour later to conserve, energy and things. So I think they still open at 11 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. I don't know. I never go that early in the morning. So that's made you wonder. And then there were demonstrations in Manila, and the word was there was only a month left of fuel. But other than that, it's never happened. But there have been a few more brownouts recently. We really don't get them in the new place where we are now. God, we used to get them a lot in Combardo, but they seem to be other parts of the city. But then we had the couple last week. I thought, oh, here we go, it's starting. But they were literally 5 minutes and 10 minutes. So I don't know if that was fuel related or whether it was something unrelated, I don't know. But touch wood, blissfully so far, hasn't been too much of a problem. Got my hair cut today, and I'm fantastically happy about it. Not because it's a particularly good haircut, well, that's all right. But one of the things which has been much to my chagrin, has been the fact that you get your hair cut here. My God, it takes hours. They piss about trimming this little bit and that little bit and that. And, they'll wander around and they'll puff and I do. I'm not joking. It usually takes about half an hour, 40 minutes to get a haircut. And you think, what the hell is going on? This is ridiculous. And my mate Greg, he got a haircut in a place I've never been to just the other day. And he came back to me. There's one literally right around the corner. I tend to go one about 2 kilometres up the road. And he said, I went to that one. He said, you will not believe how long it took. I said, I will, mate, because it was his first haircut in the Philippines. I said, I will. It took ages. He said, how do you know? I said, they do, mate. He said, but he just pissed around here and there. I said, I have no idea why it takes so long. No idea at all. It just does here. And I don't get it because there's very cheap haircuts. In the UK, they try and get like as many done in. Anyway, I've gone on too long. The point is we went to this new place I've never been to before. And my God, it took 11 minutes. He was zoom, 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 and out the chair. I am going to go there twice a month now. So refreshing to get a haircut in a normal speed. I also didn't mind it in Thailand if it took a long time because they gave you a massage and the flannel and all that. You don't get any of that here. Adam Fenton, hey Billy, you might just need a good Philippines tune-up. Just stay in Cebu for 3 months and you'll be good as new. Jackstar, hey! Sorry, buddy, on a video call. Hope everyone is good. Hit the likes and share the love. We're always good when hey, thank you very much, Jack. And not only he's kicked the door open again, not only has he appeared, he has been incredibly generous. Jack, you embarrassed me. Thank you very much. That is going in the Jackstar Fund. When you say you're on a video call, that doesn't mean you're going back to the video call, is it? Or you were on a video call and you've come back in. Anyway, welcome, Jack, and thank you, mate. Adam Fente, Jack Star, good to see you, mate. Jack, Adam was just asking about you. He said, "Had you gone?" I said, "No, he's usually here. He kind of misses the odd one because he's busy with his girlfriend, but there you go, you were here. And we're very happy about that, Jack. Jack Star, hey, Adam, I hope you're well, buddy. Blaster Finger, evening, Jack Star. Jack Star, hey, buddy. You get more hellos than anyone else, Jack. You're a popular guy. And why wouldn't you be? You're a lovely guy. But yeah, everyone likes Jack. British Filipina. Hello, mate. How you doing? David Salon in Robinson's. Just diet too, if you ask. And a quick pedicure for a good measure and a shoulder massage. Really? Really? I won't be getting it dyed. I don't need, fortunately, the thing is, a lot of people say you dye your hair and that. You might look it now. Quite lucky in the sense it doesn't show. I am starting to go grey around there, but when I've got it shaved short, it doesn't show. That's not why I get it shaved short. I always have done. But when it starts to grow like it was a couple of days ago, then it is starting to go grey. So I am bloody receding. So I'm not far off the days where dyeing might be appropriate, but I'm not going to dye it. Couldn't do that. Don't ask me why. Nothing wrong with people to do, but I couldn't do it. I'd feel I was being too vain. And I'm not knocking anyone who does. I just couldn't do it. Simon Kendall, I trained in traditional Chung Du Quan. The Grandmaster was Chung Suk He. Yeah, I bet it was, mate. Yeah. Was a special forces training in Vietnam. Oh, I thought you were joking when you said Chung Suk Yeah, I thought it was like Vietnam had fights with kickboxing guys, judo and karate, all non-official. There you go. Well, there you go. I did Wing Chun for a little while. I wasn't that impressed. I went for a stage. I wanted to do as many as possible. So I was doing Training Jiu-Jitsu. I was doing Shotokan karate, and I was doing Wing Chun. I love the Jiu-Jitsu. That took over. I really did like the Jiu-Jitsu. I never tried Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I did Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. But I really enjoyed that. Karate is a good base. The Wing Chun really is a load of bloody nonsense. But you don't know it until you tried it. I only did that about 6 months. Did the Jiu-Jitsu about 4 or 5 years. Karate, I don't know, I do karate for a couple of years. No, but about 3 or 4 years in the karate. But yeah, I used to be heavy into my martial arts. I mean, every night of the week I was training with one club. I can't remember the names of mine. No masters. I mean, what's the name of the guy who ran the jiu-jitsu? The karate gym I used to go to was the dojo in Leicester City, oldest dojo in the UK, and it was traditional. I used to love that. The chief instructor, his name was Dave. He had trained in Japan. I think he was a fourth Dan. He was very good. His technique was amazing. But I like that. It's like they had an Aikido club as well, but it was like traditional. There were no belts. You went from white to black. I like that. And I'm not into all these like, yellow and red and green and going up the rewards for this and that. I like it. And it was all in Japanese. If you're going to do something, I think you should do it the way. And I really bought into it. I had the books and dreamt to go into. But then as the UFC came along, he just thought, half of these techniques I've learned are bollocks. that's just fucking it. Simon Kendall, my dojo taught for combat didn't do anything for the Olympic rule competition fight, so apparently a back fist is a no-no. There you go, Mike Thompson. I was going to a friend's wedding, so I went for a haircut. It took 20 minutes. I got a 0. You might remember that it took about 2 minutes. I'll have to read that again. I was going to a friend's wedding, so I went for a haircut. It took 20 minutes. I got a 0. You might remember that. It took about 2 minutes. That's gone over my head, mate. I might break it down and laugh in a minute. I do apologize. It's gone over my head. Blackstar, sadly now my ex-girlfriend, but all good. Nothing to do with her being 90 years younger than be guys before you ask. Yes, I can keep up. I'm very, very sorry to hear that, mate. But if that's your attitude, you're damn right. There are plenty more fish in the sea. And even though you seem to be over it, Jack, I think the best thing you could do is get your flights booked and get your ass over here, and we will find you a new one, or several new ones. I won't pry as into what happened unless you want to tell us. But yeah, that's a shame though, because I thought that was going well. British Filipina. I did it for my wedding day. 15 years age gap. Only a few on the side, but they had to go for that day. Adam Fente Jackstar. Laughing emojis. I could have done that. I should have just done laughing. Adam, the way I see it, just training for me when I moved to Asia full time. Yep, that's it, mate. Then you really can have an age gap. 19 years will be nothing. It's end of time. Sorry to hear that, Jackstar. Go for the 20 years younger next time. Always move up. Yeah, that is happening with me, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but the age gap is getting bigger each time. This will be the last one, though. But yeah, it is getting bigger each time. What am I on now? Ellen's on 29. So I've got a 25-year age gap now. That's not too bad. That's not too bad, is it? It's respectable, I think. Adam Fente. Yes, practice technique for now. The heat and the humidity here will test you. He's going to have the aircon on, mate, in all the rooms. That won't bother him. And then there's always someone selling something on the Broadway that can help. Although I've got no idea who buys that bloody stuff. Then when you walk down the Broadway, and I don't walk down the Broadway very often, you've got these old guys like the trike drivers and that trying to sell you Fiedafal or whatever it's called. I don't know, something in a like a right dodgy plastic container. It is clearly not official. I don't know why anyone will buy it. Because I think you can get, I mean, I don't get the stuff, but I think, I mean, I don't think it'll be hard here to get a prescription and go and get the real stuff from a pharmacy. I don't even know if you maybe don't need a prescription. Maybe you can just go to a pharmacy and get it. I don't know. I've never looked into it. But the fact that these guys are walking around shaking these dodgy looking they're like they're paracetamol like bottles with, was it Cialis, Ciadafil or whatever it is in them. But they're clearly not. I remember when I was in Siem Reap once. I went to get some drinks. I used to like these cigars, these cherry cigars they used to sell over there. They were lovely. They really were nice. And they were like cherry licorice. And there was a place I went to get them. And I was getting them one day. I looked down and they were selling Viagra on the counter in like strips of 4. And it wasn't Viagra. I mean, it was like a round, bright purple thing, but it was called Viagra. And that, I think it was a couple of dollars. But my God, the mind boggles why people would buy that nonsense. Because it's, I mean, maybe it's better than the original, but I can't help but think it's going to be full of chalk and Christ knows what. But there you go. You're taking your life in your hand. You know, you're buying that stuff. People have stopped talking to me. People have stopped talking to me. Talk to me, people. I don't know what to say. I'm losing the crowds. Ellen, my lovely. Ellen, help me, sweetheart. Help me, please, my love. Help. No one's talking to me. Has the should I refresh my lap? Should I refresh it? Is there a problem? No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking for a Coke, please. Can you pour me a glass of Coca-Cola? Thank you, Blossom. Or a coffee would be even better, but no, Coke would be fine. Hey, you're going to get a glimpse now, fellas. Is she going to run by? Is she going to crawl by on all fours? What are you talking about? Oh, she's just going like that before she walks around. Anyway, you've got to wave. Coke, please, but don't. Yeah, Coke. Yeah. Here she comes, like the monkeys walking down the street. You could have waved, woman. You could have waved. On the way back, you got to stop and wave. Adam Fente, it seems like a pen in heart attack and a pill. Yeah, I would have thought so. That's assuming there's any active ingredients in them. I mean, I doubt there is. I mean, but yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. But say people must buy them. I mean, they used to sell, what was that one in Thailand? They used to sell Camagra in those big boxes of jelly. I tried that. I did try those. They're good. But you get people selling them on the street for like 11, But they were a lot cheaper than they were in the pharmacies. But you like get, but I can't remember what they said. I never bought any from the street. But thank you. A lot of people say, "Oh, don't buy them; they're fakes." But what? I don't, on the chair over there asleep. I don't think they were fakes. I mean, I don't know. I never bought them, but they looked genuine. I mean, they're in the boxes and things, and they were so dirt cheap. I think you get like a box of 50 or whatever from the pharmacy for about the same price they were selling them, or a little bit. They were selling them a little bit cheaper. So I don't think they were fake, but I don't know. But these ones here definitely are. I mean, 1,000,000%. I mean, God knows what's in the bloody things. Um, Simon Kendall, you can get generic Magic Blue tablet from TGP. I think it's about 40 pesos, maybe 80 pesos. It's legit legal. Um, what's TGP? What do you mean a generic Magic Blue tablet? Well, like in Alice in Wonderland. Are you talking about Viagra? From TGP. So basically, what is Cifidinal? Cifidinal, I think it's that. So is it, I'm going to make a fool of myself now. I think it's Cifidinal is the active ingredient. I mean, you can get a Cifidinal tablet from TPG or TGP. What is TGP? I assume that's cheap. Jack Star. Adam, so where you at, buddy, and what's your plans for the near future? Mike Thompson. Well, I'm not going to. I'll let Adam answer that. And Mike Thompson. In my time in Thailand, I would go to the pharmacy and get Tamagra. It was good for the broker's droop, the brewer's droop. Tamagra. You mean Camagra? I think you mean Camagra, don't you? Yeah, our friends gave it to me a couple of times to try this, and I like that because it was in a liquid. It tasted nice. I think you mean Camagra, yeah. Yeah, they sell that in quite a lot of the pharmacies, I think, in Thailand. So they sell it on the streets and things. But that's a genuine one. I mean, that is just like a counterfeit version in jelly form, which is made in India because they don't have the same copyright laws over there. So they do generic medicines, don't they? So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That is fine. That is fine. That is just like it is a brand. But I say, God, Christ knows what's in the shit they sell over here. What is TGP, Simon? I mean, I'm intrigued. Because I know Mercury drug over here and Watson's. I've never heard of a pharmacy called TGP. Adam Fente, still living in Vietnam. Life here is too easy and comfortable. Going to stay here for the remainder of the year. Yes, he's decided he's going to do Da Nang another year. Get me jealous now, Adam. Jealous now. Because you do like to travel around. If you're staying put for another year, it must be really good there. Hello, little fella. My dog has awoken. Adam Fenton Jackstar, I might consider going back to PH next year or even going back home to the US. Very crazy times in the world. Crypto is a long drag. Going back to the USA, good God, man. Things must be rough. Why are you thinking of doing that? It's in the time, the generic pharmacy. Okay, TGP. Thank you for clarifying that. It's end of time. Are they online? The TGP. I don't think I've seen any of them around. But I don't really look at the names of pharmacies. I know there's lots of. I know there's lots of ones which have got generic in the title, but yeah. Mind you, they're weird. The prices of drugs over here. I'm not taking medication anymore, but the pills I was on, you go into the shop, they'd quote you. I'd get like a 90-day supply or whatever, and it would be like 3,500, 4,000 pesos, something like that. But then he'd say, "Can we have your phone number?" And you give them the phone number, and they like knock 30% off. So it's like really big discount. Because one time I didn't have my phone number, so I gave Ellen. So the point is, the prices they quote online, like when you check them out, you go in there, are not what you actually pay. It's always a lot cheaper. You think they might advertise that fact, and what's the point of advertising prices higher than they actually are when you go in the pharmacy? But these are the weird and wonderful ways of the Philippines. Um, Billy the Plaza Finger, going to pack it in now, folks. Have a lovely evening, day, night. Chat with you all again soon. Yeah, take care, Billy. Be lucky. Thanks for joining us. I hope it wasn't anything we said. Take care, brother. Jackstar, Adam, what's the score with Visa, easy or pain? Adam, slight pain. Every 3 months, I must leave the country. I pay a visa company and they organise the visa and a bus trip to Laos. All day affair. I can pay for that every 3 months and work with it. Is there no way that they'll do it for you, Adam? I mean, have you asked them? They probably don't advertise the fact, but I used to take the run up to Cambodia when I was in Thailand, when I was doing the visa runs. Most of the time I went, there was a place called Queen Victoria Pub on Soy 6, and you got there like 6 in the morning, had breakfast as part of the deal. They ran you up to the border in a minibus. Shit journey. Took about half an hour. Half an hour. Took about 4.5 hours. You went to the duty free, or maybe it wasn't that long. You went to the duty free shop, crossed the border, walked back in again. They stamped your visa and you came back again. But you had to do the journey. But I only came to realise the last time I did it that the other option was to pay a few thousand but extra, and they just took your passport out, got it stamped and brought it back again. You didn't have to make the journey. I don't know. Maybe they do that as well with Vietnam. You have to ask them, mate. Blackstar, I've been looking at a few businesses in Texas. One is 50 oil wells. Something I know nothing about. Doing 39 barrels a day, but scope to expand. We are in second stage talks. Really? Really? You're going to go in? You're going to be JR of the Speaking of Asia group. Wow, Jack. $50 oil wells. That's a lot of wells. I mean, are you talking about those static ones you see going up and down? I mean, obviously, you're not talking, like the ones you see in the fields. That's a lot, isn't it? Good luck with that. Simon Kendall, TGPI. That's a strange. You are full of surprises, Jack. You've gone from a rubber plantation to an oil magnate, from crypto to hydrogen development. Extraordinary. What a life you lead. Simon Kendall, TGPI everywhere. There are a few in downtown Dumagetti. Okay, good to know, mate. I only ever really use I use Mercury Drug. Because there's one not far down from the road, and they've got quite a big one. So I got my prescriptions from there. But so I've stopped taking the tablets now. And touch wood, I don't need them. I've not had any problems. But that's where I tended to go. I go to Watson's to get my razors. I like the razors in Watson's. But I haven't used any of the independent ones. But I have seen a few which have got generic in the title, but I didn't know they were a chain. So that's probably the ones I was looking at. But there you go. So you can just go in there over the counter and buy a tablet for 40 pesos, can you? There you go. Good to know. It's amazing how many of the guys that I know over here who've got enlarged prostate who are on Cialis. I don't know why he didn't suggest that to me. I should ask him next time I go. But apparently the Cialis, it has a what do they call it? It's I can't think what it is. They're not taking it for an ED. They're taking it to help with the prostate because it's an anti-inflammatory. So it gives you the same kind of effect as basically the tablets I was on, which were an anti-inflammatory, which they basically reduce the swelling in my not the prostate, in the my bladder, because that was the pain. It was the pushing against things. It was inflamed. And apparently the Cialis, they take like I think 5 milligrams a day or whatever, or a thing or whatever, that has the same effect. And also it gives them the benefit of it's like an ED treatment as well, but it's not being prescribed to them for an ED treatment. But when I first went to see the doctor, they all said, "Are you on the Cialis now?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "Why not?" I said, "I don't know. I got prescribed these Hyadofel." Don't know why I wasn't, but I know a few guys who are prescribed Cialis. Don't know what they're paying for that. Adam Fanta, US is going to be exporting fuel in the future, so it might be something to look into, Jack Star. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this Strait of Hormuz things works out, because I think a lot of people are going to go. We should. I'm not going to say it now because obviously Jack's getting involved in the business, and I wish him well. But it's incredible that we're still as dependent on oil as we are. I think a lot of people must have smelt the coffee with what's happening, saying this wouldn't be happening if we weren't so dependent on oil. Anyway, that's a different conversation for a different day. Seamus Doherty. Malaysia looks like a decent option for expats. Malaysia? Why? I wouldn't want to live in Malaysia. Jackstar, just something different for the portfolio. The figures look decent. I would invest to get it up to 55 barrels a day and add more wells in the future. Well, that's a fantastic to have a portfolio, mate. There. We have a captain of industry amongst us, and we're very glad that you are, Jack. It's on time. BSP will raise rates by 0.75 to 1.25% in the next 3 months. Inflation shock coming here. You reckon? What does BSP stand for? I imagine it's obviously like the equivalent of the Bank of England. We got an inflation shock anyway, mate. Things are going up here. I was trying to work out the other day if I'm worse off or not because everything has gone up. I mean, the fuel's doubled, even the water deliveries. We used to pay 25 a gallon, not a gallon weight. They call them gallons. You know, the 5 gallon water things, and they've gone up to 30 now. You know, all the bars that were selling San Miguel for 75 a couple of months ago, they're now up to 85, 90. Everything is going up. I don't think this country can take much of an inflation shock because the prices are going through the roof. But the pound keeps getting stronger and stronger. So I genuinely can't work out. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things I do have gone up by 10, 20%, but the peso has gone from 68 to 83 to the pound. So am I worse off? Am I better off? I don't know how to work out that equation. Jackstar, I got to keep my mind busy, Simon. I love to explore new ventures. Yeah, take a punt, but it's not about chasing the big money. Mate, I take my hat off to you. I genuinely do. I used to be a little bit like that many moons ago. Not to the same level you are by the standards, but you know, I had quite a few fingers and a few pies. I used to love it all. You know, always thinking, what's the next thing? But my God, that was a different person, not me now. I'm so damn lazy. I just, you know, I've said to Ellen many times, and man, if you put it together, there were times when I was doing the music quiz at the Kingswick and the Sideways quiz, I was spending like 2-3 days a week just on quizzes, doing the questions. I think, well, why don't I just start an online business and make a few quid? I could be making good money if I worked 3 days a week. Maybe I'm going to get back into something now, Jack. Maybe you have encouraged me. Maybe this you mentioning those all, you might have changed my life, Jack. This could be it. This could be it. You have ignited my interest in industry. You're rubbing off on me, Jack. Adam Fente, very wise, Jackstar. I agree. It's good to keep mind active and engaged in all stages of life. Learning never stops. See, Adam's like yourself, mate. I tell you, we have two captains. We have a captain of industry and an up and coming captain of industry in Adam. You know, in a few years' time, you know, they're going to be the Warren Buffett and the can't think of any of the other bloody names. The Warren Buffett and the what? I'm unbelievable. I can't think of any of the names of the other rich people. Who owns? Have I got dementia or what? Bezos. Who's the South African guy, the richest of them all? I don't know what's happened to me. He owns SpaceX and X. What's his bloody name? Am I having a stroke or something? What's going on? The South African swat, Tesla. What's his bloody name? Anyway, the future's in front of us. Malaysia has far better healthcare and infrastructure. Yeah, I'm sure it does. But the reality is, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, this is the thing, it's like if I was really, I mean, the point is, if you could live here somewhere like this, and if you're really bothered about the things now, you can bulletproof yourself. It doesn't cost a lot if you've got your own house to put your solar up, get your Starlink, do whatever you want to do, and have a generator or whatever. And you are, the infrastructure in terms of your internet and that is fine. Um, yeah, the roads here aren't great. I get it. If you had a business and you're commuting things and all the rest of this stuff, then fine. But yeah, the infrastructure in the Philippines is not great in terms of the roads and the ferries, but I don't use them. It's only an inconvenience, if I was to fly back to the UK, that I'd have to go here or there or everywhere. But in your everyday living, I mean, the city centre is literally, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm really not bothered about the infrastructure. Healthcare in the next few years, you're right, that could be something. But the point is, the better the infrastructure, the more modern and state of the art things are, invariably, the tighter the rules, the regulations, you know, it's just that you are trading off. I like the freedom of the Philippines. I like the fact that pretty much nobody cares here whether you wear a helmet. I mean, I do wear a helmet. Whether you wear a helmet, whether you've been for a drink, whether whatever, whether your bikes. You know, I like, you don't get that in a developed country. You know what I mean? That's the thing. So yeah, Malaysia, yeah, the infrastructure will be a lot better there. The overall standard of accommodation will be a lot better, but the taxation system will be tougher. And they screwed a lot of people before when they said, like, if you build a property and you've got X amount of pension, you can stay here for life. And a couple of years in, they've whacked the limit to the pension requirements up. So people have bought houses and things and they didn't. So yeah, the infrastructure is a much better. I like Kuala Lumpur as a city. But the nightlife there's terrible. Like £7, £8 a pint in the hotels. There aren't really bars and things. It's like, it's a Muslim country. People go to 7-Eleven and buy a beer and sit outside and drink it. I don't want that. You know what I mean? So it's all a trade-off. It's horses for courses. Yeah, the food's great there, but this infrastructure and Thailand, the infrastructure doesn't not really. I mean, yeah, the brown house are a pain in the arse, but we don't really get any. I think we've lived here now approaching a year, and there have been 2 scheduled brownouts in that time. 2 scheduled brownouts in approaching a year, and I think we've probably had 4 unscheduled, and none of them lasted more than about 5-10 minutes. 10 minutes, I think, was the longest. It just went off and then came back on again. And I've got a couple of battery packs. So I mean, if we know they're coming on, I can still run the fans for a few hours. We've got an uninterrupted power supply, so when it doesn't affect our internet. So you can really, it ceases. It ceases to be a relevance really in that sense. Just a few simple measures. Jack Star, Simon, I think it's not about relying on oil, it's where you get it from. Like UK, open the North Sea for oil is simple, no? Yeah, well, I would listen, Jack. I am no expert. You've done more than I do, but I was watching a thing a few months ago before this Strait of Hormuz. I can't say it now. From what I was watching, it doesn't seem to be a lot of oil left in the North Sea. I think we've only got like 20 years or 25 years left of it. And the other parts that it might be, other suggestions are there's possibly some there, but it ain't looking good that we don't have these massive reserves because the government was looking at opening them up, but they reckon it would cost so much to find out if they had, and there was such a strong possibility that there wasn't. But I might be wrong. That's just I think that was on the news. They were talking about it. That people overestimate exactly what our reserves are, but I could be wrong, mate. Planet Jonesy, hi mate. Cialis is good for going to the toilet to get a stronger stream as we get older. Good for night time, empty bladder. Yeah, see, I don't have that problem. I don't know. It's a strange one because I have got an enlarged prostate. And I think it's a 33. I can't remember what it is. But a couple of the guys I know, my next door neighbour, not the one who's here now, one who was here before, I won't say his name, he might not want me to know. He was virtually the same size. Because he asked me what his size, because he'd had his done, what mine was. And he's pissing all the time. Has to keep going to the toilet. I don't. I've never, I used to go a little bit in the UK. There were times I might go a couple of times a night. But since I moved to the Philippines, I don't. It's never been an issue for me. The only issue I had is that it started to get painful a few months back, well, more than maybe a year back, and I was getting quite painful down there. And it was the pain. He said the doctor said it was of the prostate pushing against the bladder, but it wasn't presumably pushing in a place that made me feel like I wanted to go to the toilet. But he put me on the tablets, and that eased it. I now come off the tablets, and the pain hasn't come back. So I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, that's probably why he hasn't pronounced why he didn't. Because he asked me how often I was going to the toilet, so it wasn't a problem. Maybe that's why he didn't prescribe me Cialis. Adam Fenton, Charlie Munger, Adam Fenton, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the one. Elon Musk, yes. Mike Thompson, Elon, yes. I don't know how I forgot his name. Who's the other one? Larry. He's trying to buy the media companies, and he owns some of them. Ellison, because he was the richest man, wasn't he, in the world for like a couple of weeks last week. Yeah, Ellison. Larry Ellison was the one I was thinking of, and Elon Musk. But there you go. Janet Jonesy, a name I shall not mention. It's End of Time, Rachel Reeves. No, I wasn't thinking of Rachel Reeves. If I'm having a few beers, I get a grab. Good for you. Famous Dohi, Cambodia is great, but it's too small a country, and the beach destination is gone. Yeah, well, I was living in Siem Reap, and I've been to Kompot. I never made it down to, I can never pronounce it, Shukenville or whatever it's called, but I have heard that's gone downhill. John Maesters, hey mates. Hey John. John is my Dutch friend, my pickleball partner. It's going well, mate. Just joined. What is the subject? We don't have subjects on my chats, mate. We just chew the fat. It's a Q&A. What are you up to tonight, mate? What is it today, Wednesday? Have you been at the playing petanque or watching the petanque today? Jack Star, Simon, I was told by an oil worker 50 years in being around the world working says we will never run out. They've been feeding us the same bollocks for too long now. Some people say it replenished itself. Well, Jack, as I said earlier, mate, I am no expert on it. I was surprised to see why they hadn't mentioned that it was going to run out so quickly. But equally, I don't understand why. I mean, because it's not running out, but the point is it still costs. And I do think people might disagree. We do need to go green. The future is a green world as much as possible. And we're an island surrounded by water, and we're windy. So I don't understand why we can't, but there you go. But yeah, who knows? I don't know, Jack. I say never claimed to be an expert on oil, but it did surprise me. They said there was only about 20 years left in there. But given the way our country is, you'd think if there was that much down there and the money that's involved, that people would be paying backhanders and they would be getting it out the ground. John Meisters just got back from the Octagon. Who won? It's End of Time. Doggerel. How dare you say that to me? What does that mean? I mean, Doggerel is under there, plenty of oil there. Doggerland. I mean, Doggerland is under there, plenty of oil there. Well, right over my head, I've got no idea what Doggerland is. What do you reckon, John? Have we got oil in the North Sea? Bennett Jonesy, we were running out of oil back in the 70s, apparently. Well, we did have problems in the 70s. That's when the old Shah closed the Strait of Hormuz, wasn't it? But I don't know, as I say, it's the weird thing. It's like the Scots always say when they're going to have independence that they're going to make the revenue from the oil, but they don't actually own the oil, do they? It's all been sold to private companies. I don't know how they get it anyway. Oh, of course. Now it's we were running out of oil. Yeah, a shipping forecast area. Yeah, Doggerel, Fastnet. What's the other ones? Yeah. God, I remember the old shipping forecast. Yeah, Doggerland's one of those. Or is it Doggerel? I don't know. My dog is dreaming. You can see his little paws going up like that. He's running. Where are you running to, little fella? Doggerland. Yeah, you got to elaborate on Doggerland. So, how far are you in terms of this acquisition or this potential investment, Jack? Are you going through the books now? I mean, are you doing your due diligence, or are you just considering it? I mean, without giving away too much, do you think it's a goer, or is it still in very, very early stages? John Mesters, Doggerland is the North Sea now. Is that what they call it? Is it Doggerland? You're a wise man, John. Have you ever thought about trying your hand at the quizzes? What a quiz that was last night, wasn't it? That was a piece of work. I was with John last night at the music quiz, and I don't think the guy who I'm not going to say anything. I didn't enjoy it last night. That's all I'm going to say. There were a couple of rounds. Oh God, you had like literally guessed the whole thing. I mean, it's like, and we didn't win last night. We always win that bloody quiz, but we didn't win last night, and I'm a sore loser. But yeah, that wasn't great. That wasn't great. I think you got the beer voucher for the last round, John, but you'd already left. Because I stayed and had a few cheeky drinks with Lawrence after you were gone. Simon, you're still here. Hey, Simon. You watched a kickboxing fight a long while back. Is there fight nights here in Dumaguete, or was that more of a one-off? I watched a kickboxing fight a long way back. Did I? When did I watch a kickboxing fight? Talking of kickboxing, though, I did watch Alan Usyk against Rico at the weekend. You must have watched that. Did you watch that, John? I think he's Dutch. Is he? He is Dutch, isn't he? Rico van. He's got an Afrikaans name. I can't remember. But yeah, that was a hell of a fight. Jesus Christ! I thought he was going to lose it. Simon, you know me. I'm boots on the ground. I'll be going to check out the investment needed, and if I can test how long the wells will last. Worst places to go, mate. Just make sure ice don't get hold of you. Got to be careful these days, Jack. But don't worry. If it does come to an end, then we will mobilise. Speaking of Asia community, we'll get the GoFundMe going. I'll raid the Jackstar fund and we'll get you out, mate. Don't worry. We have got your back. We will kick up one hell of a fuss. But I think you'll be all right. Yeah, well, it's not even country and western. I can live with country and western. I accept that. See, but that bloody round on Induction Hall of Fame, I mean, that was ridiculous. Is this band in the Hall of Fame or not? Well, how can you possibly know that unless you had studied? You know what I mean? It's like, it was just guessing. We should have just gone A all the way. Anyway, I've got to keep the mouth shut. I should not be critical of other quizzes. People start criticising my quiz, and I can give it, but I can't take it. But yeah, I can live with a country and western. It's like, it's fair enough. As long as it's mixed up with some other stuff. But that round was just impossible. It was guesswork all the way through. Planet Jonesy, still cooler there, mate, weather-wise. Yes, it is still cooler. It's been quite pleasant the last few days compared to what it was before. John Mesters, Rico Verhoeven. Yeah, he's good. That was a good fight. It would be interesting if they do fight again, because I think he'd struggle the next time. I think a lot of it was he was an unknown quantity. He didn't know what he was getting himself into. Didn't know what to expect, Usyk. And the tactics were right. The way he was going out on the left foot, the way he was crowding him, the way he was going on the outside and just pressing him back, the way he was covering up and coming. He got the tactics perfectly. And he would have won if the fight hadn't been stopped. But Usyk is such an intelligent boxer. He knows what he's fighting now, so I wouldn't fancy his chances. But I don't know if he'll fight him again. I think Usyk might step down soon. But yeah, what a fight. He was so close. It was really gutted for him that they stopped it like that. It was ridiculous. Very impressive. Be interesting to see how he does against other fighters, because styles make fights. A lot of people saying he'd destroy AJ and all the rest of it, but you just don't know that because the point is, he was bigger and stronger than Usyk, and the tactics were right. There's a lot of other heavyweights who are bigger and stronger than him, and you couldn't do that with them. But he'd definitely taken. They had taken inspiration from the Chisora fight. You could see that the way Chisora had tried to manhandle him, but the way he was stepping outside and coming in the angles and going through the middle and not allowing Usyk to get his feet going. It was very clever. Perfect way to fight Usyk. I'm not going to invest in more AI, quantum and crypto. These days, memory chips are the rage. Micron looking to be the next Nvidia. Yeah, I tell you what, and they are. And my bloody laptop cost me a lot more than it should have done. When I went to buy a laptop, the guy in the shop, I looked at the prices and I'm looking at it. I didn't even say anything to him. I thought, I'm sure I looked at that laptop not so long ago, and it was like about 10,000 pesos less. And he said to me, the prices have gone up without me even asking. He must have seen it on my face because of AI. And I'm thinking, why would they gone out of AI? And I thought, oh, no, wait a minute. I remember that, yeah, because I'd seen a thing. They need the chips for AI things. So, like, there's only a limited number and they're going up. But I kind of took that with a pinch of salt and said I'd go and look at some other shops. And they've gone up everywhere because of bloody AI. So laptops, yeah, they were never particularly good value here, but they're a lot more expensive than they were a year ago. John Misters, some gyms organise fight tournaments here in Duma. Do they? Didn't know that. I've not got. I'm not really a kickboxer. Oh, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, of course I know what you're talking about. Of course, we went to see Dingo's son fight. Yeah, I've got a terrible memory. Yeah, we went to see Dingo son fight. Yeah, I think like John says, I think that probably happens quite a lot. But I only went to that because a guy I know, it was his son, and like he was like pushing out the tickets, so a few of us went to support his son. If Dingo's son hadn't been fighting, I wouldn't have known that was happening. Because they literally set up a ring on a basketball court, and Dumaguete is full of basketball courts. So probably that kind of thing's going on every weekend, but they don't really advertise it. I mean, the people who went to that were just families and friends. It's very informal. It's not like they've got a stadium here or anything like that. But I'm sure that goes on. Yeah, I know what you mean now. Sorry, I thought you meant I'd gone and paid to watch. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was Dingo's son. That was up in can't remember the name of where that was. That was up Jose Romero Road on the way up to Valencia. That was a good night. That was. It'd have been better if his son had won. Jackstar, that's a good shout, Adam. Love to chat over a brew about that. Well, there you go. That's what you got to do, mate. In fact, here's the plan, Jack. Get yourself over here, and then we'll both go fly over, and we'll visit Adam. How does that sound? Get your flight booked. Let's do it. John Misters, Rico's been world champion Thai boxing for going on 10 years now. Yeah, he's undefeated, isn't he? Still different sports, though. Still different sports. You got to remember what was the name of the Ngannou? I mean, Ngannou came up and he gave Fury a run for his money, but he didn't beat him. Yeah, I scored that. I watched that fight a few times. I scored it. He did well. He got him in trouble a few times. He did well considering he's not a boxer, but he didn't batter him like Rigo did. I mean, Rigo was winning that fight. There's no doubt about it. He was winning that fight. I know he wasn't on the scorecards, but he should have been. Should have been at least 3 rounds up. But I've lost my train of thought now. But yeah, then look what happened to Ngannou when he fought AJ. He got knocked out in the second round. I mean, and that was a bad knockout. So, I mean, yeah, styles make fights. People have seen what he's about now. They'll take him seriously. And the thing with Usyk is Usyk doesn't like to fight on the back foot. He doesn't like to be pressured. He likes to keep people off balance and counter and wear them out with his footwork. But there are a lot of fighters who do like to fight on the back foot. And Rigo style would not work with one of those. I mean, they just fall back on the ropes and uppercut him, which is exactly what Usyk did. And there's a lot of harder punches than Usyk. So it'd be interesting to see what his next fight is like. I mean, he's in his 30s. He's got a good trainer in Peter Fury. Simon Kendall. The fight was in Duma. It was some dude named Dingo's son. It was maybe around a year ago. I guess you did a vlog on it. Yeah, we've already covered that, mate. Yeah, sorry. I remember what it is now. I must be so slow on this chat to catch up. Yeah, it was Dingo. Right, yeah, I remember all about it now. My apologies. I didn't have a clue what you were talking about to start off with. Jack Star, I'll hold you to that, Simon. No, Jack, I'll hold you to that, mate. I'm here. I'm ready to go. All you got to do is get yourself over here and we'll fly there. You can't hold me to that, mate. I'm holding you, mate. You got to get yourself over here, son. Jerry Stanley, what's that, mate? Left you a long comment on the last video about Americans. LOL. Did you really? Did you really? I always reply to comments. I'll have to have a look at that, mate. I apologise if I missed that. Which video was that? Which one was that? Jerry Stanley, love boxing. Haven't watched in a while. Yeah, I love it, boxing. It's my number one love. I used to watch a lot of cricket. I still watch the West Ham games, but I tend to like watch them. But the boxing, I'll get up for it. You know, I do. I've always loved the boxing. I mean, I don't watch it avidly. I watch all the big fights, and the not so big fights. I watched Dave Allen the other week. He should never have fought. He should never have. I'm trying to think what his name is now. The Croatian fighter. Oh God, my things with words are awful. When I was back in the UK, I used to watch a lot of domestic fights. I used to go to York. Used to go to York Hall and that when I was a kid. I loved going to see live boxing. Seen loads of fights in Vegas. But yeah. Boxing is my sport. Planet Jonesy looked at buying a PlayStation 5 for my daughter, 1,500 Australian dollars. She will just have to read a book. 1,500 Australian dollars, so that's like £750 English. How much are they usually? I mean, that sounds like a lot, but I'm not a game player. I had a PlayStation when they first came out. I used it for a couple of months, and I've never touched one since. I don't know what they go for these days, Xboxes and PlayStations. I'm assuming that's a lot. And is that like the laptops they've gone up because of the AI? Planet Jonesy will go used. Adam Fente, any domestic travel plans in the Philippines for you and Ellen? No travel plans at all, mate, with the cat and the dog. Till we've got the kitten and the puppy at an age, a confidence thing where we can leave them and we've got someone we can trust look after them. Our travelling days are gone, mate. Trish, good to see you again. Enjoy your channel and comments. Keep well in the Philippines. Well, thank you very much. Very nice of you to join us, mate. Good to hear from you. Keep well too. Right, well, we are getting close to the 2-hour mark. So I've gone on a bit longer than I usually do. I'll keep going for a couple more minutes. So if you've got anything you want to ask me, get them in and I'm going to knock it on the head. Don't rush to sign off, but I am going to end it in the next 5-10 minutes. Because I've got to take the doggy for a walk. Hopefully Jack hasn't said anything for a minute. I'm hoping that's because he's busy booking his flight and he's going to hold me to it. Faderish, thumbs up given. No brainer, of course. Thank you very much. We love the thumbs up. We got 16 thumbs up. 16 people, 16 thumbs up. Hopefully everyone in the chat has given me a thumbs up. If you haven't, then damn ya. That's what I say. I don't know if it's like Murphy's Law, but whenever I say I'll answer any questions in the next 5 minutes. No questions. 17. Come on, get in there. 17 people watching, 17 likes. I can't come. 18 likes. Good God, it's like an auction. Any high, any more, any more. Sold to the man with a fat cigar. 16 people, 18 likes. I do like that. Thank you very much. Planet Jonesy, aha. We have puppies too. The Japan trip has been postponed. Yeah, I know that is a nightmare. It is. We do love them, but it is a shame. We're gonna have to sort something out. Can't be holidayless for much longer. Simon Kendall, good night, mate. Good night, mate. Platterish, were you RAF or Army? I was RAF, mate. RAF, Royal Air Force. And Fente, Ellen doesn't have a spare family member to help housekeep. I thought you were going to try and get me to set you up then when you said have a friend, have a spare family member. And you say looking for a date. Her family don't live in Dumagetti, mate. They live up in. Oh, I tell you what. Here you go. I was going to talk about that tonight. I am going to meet the family for the first time on Saturday. They have a fiesta, and we are going to go up there. Why I got my hair cut today. I've got my hair cut, and I've got to wear trousers according to Ellen. Yeah, the day has come off. We put it off for so long. Yeah, the plan originally was to go and stay the night and that, but thank God we can't because of the puppies and the dog. I said, cannot leave them. So yeah, we're just going for the day. We're gonna leave at 4 o'clock in the morning. We're gonna go out there for the sunlight, right out to the mountains. I'll do a vlog, but yeah, gonna meet the in-laws, and they're all gonna be there because it's a fiesta. So it's gonna be the whole family. Really looking forward to it. Jerry Stanley, just sit and support in you and a San Meg. Well, I appreciate the support, mate. Enjoy your San Meg. And Fente's laughing. I was laughing. Planet Jonesy, night, mate. Good chat. Cheers, Planet. Thanks for joining us, mate. John Masters. Better bring some food if you're going to meet the family, mate. Yeah, I keep saying that to Ellen. I say, what we're going to have to bring? She doesn't have to bring anything. I said, we must have to bring something. But it's going to have to be small because we can't fit too much on the scooter. And she says, no, you don't have to bring anything. All the food and drinks going to be there. Bring some Coke. And like I said to her, I said, look, that seems very strange to me. If there is something we have to buy or do, tell me now. Because we've got 2 days. Don't suddenly turn around like, on the day and say, we need to get this and that because you didn't want to mention it before. Just tell me now. Because I can't believe we're not going to have to bring flowers or some drinks or something, like a gift for the family. Because I'm running out of time to get it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not bringing a pig. I've said that from day one. I'm not like lecturing. I won't. Yeah, it's yeah. I know a few people out there buy a pig. I am not having a pig slaughtered in my name as a gift for someone. I've given them money; they can sort their own pig out. I'm not going down the bloody butchers and buying a pig and saying kill that for me. No bloody chance. You can tell me tomorrow night at the quiz, John, what you think I should bring. You have a lot more experience of mingling with Filipino families than I do. Adam Fente, no date for me, mate. I'd enjoy future slice of life vlogs. Yeah, I will do one for that one. Jack Star, always a pleasure, buddy. Nice chat with you guys. Peace out, Adam. Yeah, and Adam and Jack, thank you so much for the awfully generous, wonderfully generous super chat, mate. Much appreciated, brother. And good luck with your, well, not negotiations. Good luck moving forward with your potential acquisition, shall we say. Adam Fente, bring oranges. Okay. John Mesters, food and tandoori, mate. Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't think they're drinkers. Because Ellen was on about that. Because her sister posted a picture a few days ago of a crate of beer. And she said, why has she done that? We don't have alcohol at our fiestas. They're quite a strict family like that. And I hope they don't have beer, to be honest with you. I don't mean bring some tandoori, because the thing is, I've never driven up that in the mountains before. And Ellen reckons is really hairy. She didn't want to go on a bike. But I said, I'll fucking be all right. I just live in the mountains. But the point is, I don't want to spend a day drinking and then driving back in night right down the mountain. So it'll be less of a temptation for me if there isn't any booze there. But it seems a strange fiesta. There's going to be no alcohol. Particularly when I've been told to. Anyway, I'm not going to go in there. But yeah, I will ask her about that when we finished. Adam Fente, peace out, Jackstar. Have a good night, Simon. You too, mate. Stay safe, buddy. Harish, thank you for reading all the comments. Much appreciated. Good man. Keep well and have a good trip to meet the in-laws. Thanks, mate. I will appreciate your comments. Of course, I read it. I appreciate you making the comments, mate. Thanks for joining us. John Mesters, keep them fed and drunk. That is probably the way, mate. I will bring something. I won't tell them. I will spike their drinks. John Mesters, they will like you better for it if you do. You could be on to something there, John. I will get. You got me thinking now. Right, I'm going to say goodbye, chaps. I think we're done now. Thanks for everyone who joined us. It's always appreciated. As again, Jack, if you're still there, thank you for the super chat. And I say, I am not exaggerating when I say I could not do this without you, chaps. I couldn't have a life by myself. If I did that, it would just be a normal video, wouldn't it? So thank you for making it possible. And hopefully I will see you all again next week. Same time next week. Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Be there or be square. John Messers, I'm out, buddy. See you tomorrow. Have a good night and say hi to Ellen. I will do, mate. Say hello to a good lady as well from us, please, mate. Cheers. Be lucky. Bye-bye.